Welcome to day 46. We're diving into Leviticus, specifically chapters 8 to 10, where we see the consecration of Aaron and his sons and the beginning of the sacrificial system for Israel. It's a pivotal moment that really sets the tone for the priesthood. So let's start with the consecration of Aaron and his sons. What stands out to you in this part?
Right, it's such an interesting ritual. The details are intense. I mean, Moses doesn't just sprinkle some oil and say, "You're good." No, there's this whole process of clothing Aaron and his sons, anointing the tabernacle, offering sacrifices, and then the special anointing of Aaron's head. It's this deep physical representation of purification and sanctification. You've got everything from washing to anointing with oil, all to make them holy before God.
Absolutely. And it's not just the physical act of anointing with oil, but the meaning behind it. When Moses pours the anointing oil on Aaron's head, it symbolizes God setting them apart. It's not just ceremonial, but it's showing that they are chosen to mediate between God and the people. The significance of them wearing those specific garments, the tunics, the ephod, and the breastplate, it's like they are literally clothed with the holiness of God.
Yeah, those garments are loaded with meaning too, right? The ephod, especially with the Urim and Thummim, was used to discern God's will. It's not just about looking good, it's functional. There's a real connection between their role as priests and their responsibility to be a clear channel for God's guidance.
Exactly. And that idea of mediation is crucial. The whole ritual seems like it's setting up this picture of how Israel is to approach God through holiness, reverence, and sacrifice. You can't just waltz into the presence of God. There's a cost, a process. This is why the sacrifices are so prominent in these chapters. The sin offering, the burnt offerings, they all represent atonement and the need to cover sin.
Right? And the sin offering is significant. Aaron and his sons lay their hands on the bull's head as a symbol of transferring their sin onto it before it gets sacrificed. That ritual of laying hands really drives home the idea that sin has to be dealt with. It's not just a, hey, let's forgive and move on moment. There's a deep ceremonial act where sin is physically transferred and then purged through the sacrifice.
It's intense. And the sacrifices aren't just for Aaron and his sons either. There's a communal aspect to it. Moses, after preparing everything for the priests, brings the offerings for the people. The burnt offerings and the peace offerings show this connection between the people and God. These aren't private rituals. They're community-driven and aimed at restoring the whole nation.
Yeah, it's like the people are a part of the process too, even if they aren't directly involved in the sacrifice. They see it happening and they're reminded that their relationship with God requires sacrifice. It's not a distant thing. This is very much about the daily, lived out experience of being in a covenant relationship with the divine.
It's also interesting how Moses emphasizes the importance of obedience. This isn't just about following traditions for the sake of tradition. The entire consecration process is to make sure that Aaron and his sons are fully equipped and set apart to do this sacred work properly. God's glory is revealed through their obedience.
Absolutely. And speaking of obedience, chapter 9 gives us the first public sacrifices, and it's tied to God's glory. Moses commands the people to bring their offerings before the Lord, and when they do everything right, God's glory manifests. It's like a public affirmation that this system is working, that they're following the right path, and you can almost feel the tension, right? It's this mixture of fear and awe when God's glory shows up.
That's such a powerful moment. When the fire comes down and consumes the sacrifice, it's a direct sign that God has accepted the offerings, and the people's reaction, falling on their faces, shows just how overwhelming the presence of God is. That moment of divine approval is so significant.
It's almost like God is saying, I'm here, I'm accepting this, but this is serious. And that's where the danger of Nadab and Abihu comes in, right? These two sons of Aaron offer strange fire before the Lord, and they're consumed by fire. It's a harsh reminder that not just any offering will do. You don't just approach God any way you want.
Yes, that moment is sobering. It's the ultimate lesson on the seriousness of approaching God with the right heart, the right ritual, and the right obedience. Nadab and Abihu were so close to holiness, yet they didn't honor God in the way He commanded, and that was costly. Their deaths remind us that God is holy and must be treated with reverence.
It's fascinating, though, how Aaron responds to this. He holds his peace. He doesn't complain or question God's decision. He accepts that this was part of God's plan, even though it's incredibly painful for him personally. That kind of faith and acceptance is powerful, especially in the face of tragedy.
It is. And even when the situation is tragic, Aaron still respects God's holiness. That sets the tone for the rest of the priesthood. They must maintain holiness even when it's hard. There's a consistency here that's essential. Even when things go wrong, They can't abandon the process of maintaining purity before God.
Exactly. And then the chapter ends with a moment of reflection, right? Aaron and his sons have to follow the Lord's commands for their role, and this is what it means to be faithful. They must keep their vows and even in hardship remain steadfast. Their commitment to obedience is part of the bigger picture of the community's relationship with God.
Well said. It's all connected. Obedience, holiness, sacrifice. It's all part of the same fabric that holds Israel's relationship with God together. And honestly, it's a good reminder for us today. The idea that God demands reverence, obedience, and purity isn't just ancient history. It's relevant in how we live our lives and approach God in our own way.
Agreed. The rituals might look different today, but the underlying principles still stand. It's about honoring God with the right heart, understanding the cost of sin, and maintaining a relationship of reverence that's timeless.
A perfect place to wrap up. So, what do you think? How can we apply these ancient rituals of consecration and sacrifice to our own daily practices? It's a big question to think about, but we'll leave that for the listeners to ponder. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for having me. This was a great conversation, and I hope it gives everyone some fresh perspectives on Leviticus and how its messages still resonate today.
Until next time, take care and reflect on how you approach your own relationship with God. Stay blessed.